Hey, good morning, folks. Welcome to the Solar Fit Renewable Energy Show. Bill Gallagher back with you this morning, coming to you from our studios in beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida. It's June, and the weather is absolutely beautiful. And boy, I'll tell you, do we have a fantastic guest with us this morning. This is Abigail Ross Hopper, President and CEO of the Solar Energy Industries Association, also known as SEIA. We're so happy to have her on. Abigail, welcome to the Solar Fit Renewable Energy Show.
Thanks for having me, Bill. It's good to be here.
I can't tell you what a thrill this is, Abby. I had a chance to visit you at your office in Washington, D.C., and I know how hard you work. And as a past FLOSSIA president here in Florida and currently on the board, I want to thank you on behalf of FLOSSIA and everyone across the country, all the solar advocates, for what you guys do. It is amazing. And I got to say this real quickly. We worked with Rowan for years and years, Rowan Resch. I thought, man, no one can fill his shoes. And Abby, you have done it. Congratulations.
Well, that's so kind of you. And thank you for working on the FLOSSIA board and being the chair and for all your work in Florida, right? We couldn't do it without those partnerships.
Well, thank you very much. You know, Abigail, this is it's incredible. I've got to go back to 1985. We're actually this is our 50th year in the industry. In 1985, we experienced something very similar when the administration changed and the tax credit disappeared, and it took us 20 years to recover it. And I'm seeing some clouds on the horizon. But with you up there and all the support you guys give, we could not be happier. So I don't know where to start on this. If you want to talk a little bit about your background, that would be really great.
Sure. Well, I have been privileged enough to serve in this role as the CEO of SEIA for the last 8.5 years, which is wild. It felt like a hot second, not 8.5 years. But I'm a lawyer by training. I come to this work sort of through law and then politics and then energy and then solar. But I love it. I love what we're doing. And as you know, Bill, over the last 8.5 years, the industry has grown so much and we've matured so much that it almost feels like I have a different job today than I did when I first got here.
Boy, you are so correct. You know, I can remember years ago going to the SPI events and when I first started going, it was all solar thermal. Then it kind of gradually got into solar power. And now it's like, you know, people are coming with pinstripe suits and they're talking about business across the world. The whole complexion of solar has changed so much, and to a large degree through your leadership. So tell us a little bit about what's happening today and how all the people that are listening to this broadcast can help.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've heard a lot about this reconciliation bill that is currently in front of Congress. It has passed out of the House of Representatives, and the United States Senate is considering it. But what passed out of the House of Representatives is a huge risk for the solar and storage industry. It takes away the 25D credit, you know, the residential tax credit, very quickly. It functionally ends the utility scale credit in just a couple of months, and it puts incredibly unworkable provisions around product and where they're located, you know, where they're sourced from and what's eligible for tax credit. So it basically is kind of a 1, 2, 3 punch to the industry and, you know, has devastating impacts on the residential sector, the community sector, the commercial sector, and the utility scale sector, as well as kind of taking huge steps backwards on the manufacturing side.
Yeah, for sure, Abby. You know what? It's confusing to me. Maybe you can help me understand this. It just seems counterintuitive to President Trump's plan to have manufacturing back into America and support job creation. Gosh, it's almost like the reverse of that. I don't understand how that came about this quickly.
Yeah, it is a little challenging to understand. You know, we take the president at his word that he would like American energy dominance, and we really positioned solar and storage as a part of that American energy dominance. I'm looking at, you know, we have buttons and we have stickers and we have T-shirts, right? Like we have leaned into American energy dominance, and as part of that is owning the AI race. And as you know, Bill, in order to own the AI race, you have to own the energy sector. And solar and storage are a huge part of that. We're the fastest to market, we're the least expensive, and it's what all of the tech companies want. And so sort of juxtaposing that with the reality of what's happening in Congress is a little hard to understand. I don't spend too much of my time trying to, understand all the machinations of sort of what's in people's heads. What I do focus on, though, is bringing the story of what's at risk to United States senators and reminding them that they have the ability to stop this and really restore some sanity to our energy policy.
Well, we're sure hopeful that that's what will happen. I know we've got some really strong advocates on the Senate side, and for that matter, on the House side, correct?
Yeah. No, we do. I think one of the things that we've seen since the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act in 2022, as you know, is so much deployment and so many factories being built in states that voted for President Trump. And so those legislators are seeing the impact of investment and of job creation in their communities, and that has been a powerful tool in our persuasion efforts.
You brought up a real important part about the AI. We're in Florida. It's a really interesting state. I often kid about they're shutting down I-95 going north because no one goes north. They're all coming south. So we have this explosive growth. We need more and more electrons. Of course, we love a clean electron, but we like all electrons. We're going to need all the energy we can get, especially with AI. I'm not understanding why we should cut out a major component with that, particularly since the energy is free, abundant, and we can build it overnight almost.
Yeah, no, those are the messages we have been carrying to Congress, exactly those, that if we want to win the AI race, if we want to bring manufacturing back to the United States, we have to have abundant, affordable, reliable electricity. And the only way to do that is to have every electron available to us. As you know, we just put out our report on sort of the Q1, the state of the solar and storage industry. 82% of new capacity built on the grid so far in 2025 is solar and storage. That's been the case, the predominant source of electricity for a number of years now. So the market knows, right? The market knows what is available, what is inexpensive, what is going to feed sort of our hunger for electricity. We just need government to kind of get out of the way on this one and let us keep deploying.
I would like to be in the room when some genius came up with the idea of intermittent energy. The first time I saw that, I almost dropped my gum. I think intermittent energy. It's come on. I mean, along with storage too. Holy schmoko, that's changed the whole landscape.
It's something that a lot of folks don't fully appreciate, that when you pair solar and storage together, it is functionally baseload power, right? It provides power 24/7, and it does it in a reliable way. And that we've done a lot of education around that on the Hill. And we hear senators and Congress people repeating that back to us, and that lets us know that message is working.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that. Abby, you're doing such a wonderful job. What can we do to help? How can we, just as citizens, I notice now that there's some commercials coming online about saving clean energy jobs and stuff. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, well, we have two campaigns underway that I would encourage you and all your listeners to pay attention to and participate in. One is kind of the overarching effort, solarpowersamerica.org. There's lots of tools in there for citizens to learn, but then more importantly, connect with their legislators and say, hey, this really matters to me. This really matters to my business, to my family, to my community. And then we have one really focused on residential solar called SaveMainStreetSolar.org. And that is focused, as I said, on the tax credits that help the residential sector allow consumers to be resilient, right? Weather through some of those storms that you have down in Florida, make sure the refrigerator stays on, the medicine stays cold, the oxygen machines are running, right? So those two campaigns, solarpowersamerica.org and SaveMainStreetSolar.org are places that folks can go to get engaged.
Very, very good. Something that's really impressed me is the speed that manufacturing of solar modules and assembly and everything is picked up in the United States. It just seems like any kind of law to upset that would just it would be very, very disadvantaged to everyone in the United States.
Yeah. I was talking with my colleagues earlier today. We are living through a time that we could not even imagine a couple of years ago, with rising electricity demand and a reshoring of manufacturing. It's an exciting time to be in this industry, and yet, if this bill that the House of Representatives passed becomes law, we're at risk of losing 330 of those factories. So we have a lot on the line. We really have a lot on the line, and I would encourage folks to engage, because it will mean lots of jobs, lots of factories, higher electricity rates for all of us, tons of investment down the tubes. We're just handing China a victory.
And so right on that. I can't help but thinking if this were to occur, what would happen? We'd have to have more, of course, fossil fuel plants that need to be built. And the cost to do that is all rate-based. It comes back to the customer. Everyone's going to be paying higher utility rates, where now a lot of the utility companies, a lot of their energy is coming from solar, where there's no energy cost. It's a crazy world out there.
It is, and that's why I think it's important for people to understand all of the different market dynamics, right? $51 billion in increased energy bill costs over the next 10 years if this bill goes through as currently proposed.
Wow. Well, I know we're almost out of time, and you've probably got a lot of other interviews that you're on your plate today. But Abby, I want to thank you so much for what all you guys do up there, and for taking time to come on our radio show and our podcast. And we're going to spread the word. And thank you so much.
Bill, thank you so much for all you're doing. I want to take your kind words and share them with my team today.
Oh, please, that would be so good. Okay, good luck up there. We're behind you, Abby. Keep up the good work, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, and have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye now. Well, folks, that was Abigail Hopper, and boy, I'll tell you, she is a whirlwind. She is so strong up there in the Capitol, working for everyone here in America to keep our independence. Like, if we want to put solar on our home, we should have the right to do that. If we want to put them on our buildings, we should have the right to do that, and we should be compensated fairly for investing our dollars into hardening the grid and reducing everybody's energy costs. So anyway, that was a very exciting interview for me, and we're looking forward to working with her. And the next week we're gonna know by the 4th of July this year what's going on. But I appreciate everyone if you could go on and help us contact your senator and just let him know that you want to keep clean energy and you want to keep the credits go flowing. Okay, folks, we're going to sign off for this session, and we'll talk to you back in a minute. Bye.
Hi folks, Bill Gallagher with SolarFit here. Have you ever thought about utilizing solar power for your home or business? Well, there's never been a better time to plug into the sun and stop renting electricity. How would you like to let your roof start paying you each month? Give us a call at 445-7606. That's 445-7606. Or visit us at solarfit.com and set yourself free.
SolarFit your life and set yourself free with the sun's free energy.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the SolarFit Renewable Energy Show. Bill Gallagher back with you again. Oh, my gosh. What an interview with Abby. She is just so fantastic. What a job she's doing for our country up there in Washington, bringing sanity to Congress to help support renewable energy. It's just such a fast-growing, fascinating industry. We want to make sure that it continues on its trajectory because it's so important to America. So I want to introduce to you a good friend of mine, and now our brand new business development manager for South Volusia. That's Mr. Jordan Farrell. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? My name's Jordan.
Jordan. Oh, gosh. Jordan's just started with us recently, and he's going through his, I'll call it basic training. but it's a program that Joe has put together, and you've had a chance to meet some of our staff. In fact, we just had a sales meeting. What do you think of that?
It was awesome. Everyone here is very friendly. I feel very welcomed.
Yeah, we can't wait to get you up to speed, Jordan. It won't take very long. I really love to see your level of interest, but also your ability in math. It's a little bit important to make sure you understand where these numbers coming from. Well, you grasp that right away. So we're so fortunate to be able to have you join our team. Now I know that you are the consummate pickleball player, but officially tennis. Take us back where you grew up initially. Walk us through the tennis and into the pickleball.
So I was born in Colorado. I started tennis at 3 years old, coming from my dad. He actually played, he was number one in the state of Colorado at 18. So he had me on the court for 16 years. And then I picked up pickleball, watched the MLP here at Pictona, and that's when I got interested in Pictona and playing pickleball and all that.
Okay, now wait a minute. I got to go back. Three? At age 3?
3 years.
Did they even make tennis rackets for somebody that small?
It was about the size of my body.
Really? So I think Colorado. What part of Colorado are you from?
I was from Denver.
For Denver. Okay.
Yeah.
First thing I think Colorado is skiing.
Yeah.
Then when I look at the young folks, I think snowboarding and stuff. Did you ever do any of that?
I did some snowboarding and skiing.
Yeah. Which do you like better?
Snowboarding.
You like? Why?
Just the way you can move with the board.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Kind of like surfing, isn't it?
It is like surfing.
Only going downhill.
Yeah, and you lean with your body, so it's really helpful.
Jeez.
And yeah.
Where was your favorite place to ski?
I don't remember the locations because my dad would take me when I was younger. I really don't know any of the locations now.
Yeah, Colorado is such a beautiful state, and we've been to Winter Park and to Aspen and all these different places. They all have their own flavor, but boy, there's just a feeling of freedom when you're out there, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's a little chilly.
It is chilly, for sure.
So where I grew up in the Adirondacks of upstate New York, skied, of course, when I was younger. And the first time I took a trip out to Colorado, I couldn't believe it. In upstate New York where we're skiing, there's ice and rocks, and there's a little bit of snow. I go out to Colorado, and holy moly, this is a completely different thing. It's so much fun.
Yeah, wow.
It was fun for you, too?
It was very fun for me. I had a lot of fun. I mean, skiing, I do miss that, especially going with my dad.
Yeah. So you take us back now. At 3 years old, you're starting tennis. I mean, gosh, you weren't even in school yet.
Yeah. I mean, I was playing kids nearly twice my age. I always played up in age so I could get that really good competition. And I played about 4 or 5 in tennis. That's a really high level. And then I just picked up in pickleball, and all my skills from tennis transferred to pickleball, so I really grew in pickleball very fast, developed a lot of the game. Just the part that was hard for me was just dinking, but all in all, it's very fun.
Well, my brother, as you know, very well, and he is, I hate to use this word addicted because it sounds like it's sinister, but I tell you, I'm so glad he does spend a lot of time over there.
Yeah.
And he's been trying to get me involved in it. I really only played with him once, and it was just about the funniest darn thing. I had on, I didn't know there's such a thing as pickleball shoes. So I had on my sneakers, and they're really, really sticky. I went to run for the ball, and I spun out, and I hit the fence. When I say hit the fence, I mean I hit the fence.
Oh, wow.
And my brother looks at me, he goes, how am I going to pick you up? And I never forget that as long as I live. But anyway,
gosh.
He's trying to get me back into it. So the other day, I don't know, I guess it was Saturday, I like to go bike riding. So I go for a long bike ride and stuff like this. So I get through it, my brother goes, well, we need to go play pickleball. So I said, so we go up to the park to play pickleball. And I mean, I cannot believe how fast the time went. I mean, 45 minutes later, and I'm soaking wet, right? And
yeah.
But when I first started, the thing was funny, and Sally was with him too, and she was hitting the balls to us. And my brother and I were wrestling. She hit me this ball, and I went to swing at it. I missed it completely. And I'm looking down at the paddle. I go, I don't know what it is. Is it? I thought the paddle was like a tennis racket. I kept missing it. Finally, after a while, she says, you got to keep your eye on the middle of the paddle or something like that.
The sweet spot.
Okay, so talk about that. How do you're a pro in my mind on it. How do you go about teaching somebody that has just from the basics?
I tell them to really keep their eye on the ball and do less swing. Start out with less swing, develop the swing, get used to hitting the ball, and then transition into footwork and build your way up into that. It's all like a pyramid. it starts off with consistency. You just got to really build your way up on that ladder.
So when you talk about footwork, one thing I noticed the other day when I was doing it was, I don't know why, it just seemed like my feet were getting tied up or something. It was almost like I was thinking ahead and going to get the ball, but my feet weren't going in the right direction. Is that common, or is that
that is very common, especially with racket sports, where, for an example, if you're hitting with your right hand, you would want to step in with your left foot. A lot of people actually do the opposite, and that's where you get your feet tangled up and you trip or something.
Yeah. Well, I think somebody had hit the ball over to the right side of me, and I thought, well, I'll just go get it. And the next thing I know, I'm wadding all up.
Yeah.
But boy, I'll tell you, he got me interested again. So I guess I'm going to have to come out there and have you guys show me how to do it the right way. Now, you teach out there, on Fridays, or what do you?
I teach there Fridays and the weekends.
On the weekends, right?
Yep.
So how do people get involved if they want to have you as their coach?
So they would call Pictona or get one of my business cards there. I also run camps on the weekends and stuff like that, especially team events, drilling, all that kind of stuff.
So what do you find the age group?
It's between 40 to about 60 years old.
Isn't that interesting?
That is crazy.
Is it because when you get to be 40, running in tennis becomes more arduous, and you go, geez, maybe I'll take up this pickleball stuff?
Yeah, and I mean, a pickleball court, it's like nothing for a tennis player. When you get on that court, you're like, wow, this is very small, and you can move a lot. I mean, I've given a lesson to a guy that's 83 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he learn it? Is he still?
He's still playing. Yeah,
okay,
he's good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He picks it up that quickly.
Very healthy.
I think the hardest thing about pickleball is not only actually the ability to play, it's just learning the rules.
Yeah.
So I always thought the kitchen was somewhere you went to get a cold and
ice beer.
Right. So talk about the layout of the court.
Yeah. So the kitchen, when you're playing pickleball and you step into that kitchen while you're taking a ball out the air, that's considered a fault. A fault would be like that's your opponent's point. You lose that point. So the only way you can really go in that kitchen is when that ball bounces in there. So you can just go in there, hit the ball so long as it bounces. Then that point is still going on as an active play.
So what is this dinking all about?
So dinking is really moving your opponent around, watching where your opponent is placing that ball, trying to get them to pop it up so you can just whale it. And it's like chess, so where you're putting your pawn right here, or you're moving your queen here. You just got to figure out where is my opponent not at, so you can set up the play for you and your partner.
So you've got singles and you've got doubles. Mm-hmm. Which do you play, both? Or
I play both, yeah.
Play both. Which is more difficult?
For me, I would say doubles, because I'm a tennis player. I'm used to driving, running, all that stuff. But when it gets to doubles, where you get into trying not to set your partner up, that's where it's pretty hard, because you're focusing on not only yourself but your partner.
That's where I envisioned the same problem that we used to have back when we were playing baseball. Two guys running for the ball. They're all going full speed. Who gets the catch? Who makes that decision? And one guy goes, I'll let him have it, only to have the ball fall on the ground.
Yeah.
So I see that in pickleball. Like, do I let my partner get it because I want to get it, right? I mean, do you see that?
Yeah, I do see that. I played with a guy that's left-handed, and that's both of our forehands right in the middle, and we were like, do you want to take it? Do I want to take it? Like, it's hard. I mean, that ball's coming like 50 miles right at your face, so you gotta be ready to who's taking that middle and really communicate with your partner there. So
it's really important to have partners that really gel, right?
Yes, exactly.
So the other day I went to over to Pictona because my brother said, you got to come see these pros play. So I come over and I went, this is really crazy. They had a lady there. I don't know how tall she was, but she was tall.
Yeah.
And they had a lady, I don't know how short she was short.
Yeah.
And it was just a crazy dynamics to watch them play.
Oh, yeah.
The short girl, God, man, I'll tell you what, she'd haul off and hit that ball, jump up in the air and do flips and
crazy tricks.
Like Cirque du Soleil or something,
Yeah.
But
it's fun. I mean, everyone has a different game style. So it's just, you see the little people and they come out and just bang it, and then the tall people, you think they're going to hit hard and they play very soft.
Yeah.
So you never know what you're getting out of your opponent.
That's what kind of makes it interesting is like I say, you can hit it 50 miles an hour, or you could just kind of lob it over the things. So I can see doubles being less running and stuff like that, but in a concentrated area, because that's pretty small, isn't it?
It is very small, but you also got to worry about like placing the ball where your opponents are not at, because if you are lobbing, you're not only messing yourself up, but you're messing your partner up. So you got to really be smart, have the good IQ on the court, watch where you are putting that play.
Yeah, so if you lob the thing over, you got to make sure you don't put it in a position where the guy on the other, a gal on the other side, does whap it back and get your
yeah. So you got to see where they're on the court. Like if that person's coming up, lob the person that's already right there. That way they kind of mismatch who's going for the ball. Yeah. I can see the challenge also is keeping score. Right? People tell me they really have a problem with that. Talk about that. They'll do like so when you start off the game, you say 0-0-2. And the 2 means the second server. So back when they invented pickleball, they were like, well, we can't have the first team have 2 serves automatically. So one team decides they'll have 1 serve. So you call out 0-0-2. And if like you win the point, it'd be 1-0-2. Let's say you serve it into the net. Now it's the other team's ball, and they call out their score, and then your score, and then their server that's serving. So they would say 0-1-1, and they'd call the 1 because that's the first person serving on their side. So it's very tricky for new players coming in because you're like, well, wait, who's the 1, who's the 2, all that, and it just goes on from there like that.
Yeah, that would be a little bit tricky. You'd have to go to the whiteboard with me on that one.
I'll take you to the whiteboard.
We did a lot of whiteboarding this today. I'm going to have to get you in there. It's just such a fun sport. And boy, I'll tell you, it's a healthy sport too. Very. I didn't see an ounce of fat on anyone out there.
You should see if you have an Apple Watch, so you can track your calories on there. I think one night I burned like 1,500 calories in 3 hours.
Holy kamoko!
Just from playing pickleball nonstop.
Wow, that's 500 an hour.
Yeah, and it feels like you're not doing much, but I mean, you are burning those calories.
Yeah, I think that's consistent with a good clip run for 3 hours, the same calorie burn. Wow. Well, it's healthy. Got to stay hydrated. Talk about that.
Exactly. With the sun, it's hot. Yeah.
Do you drink tons of water? Or?
I drink a lot of water, about a gallon a day. I really like to drink electrolytes because I like to stay very active. I don't want to be all sluggish, so that's just how I play. Yeah. I drink all that stuff.
Wow. Have you ever been up to the Palm Coast Southern Rec Center?
I haven't been there yet.
Well, you need to go there because not only is it fascinating and a great place, but we have a 100 kW solar power system powering that facility.
Oh, wow.
So they're running on the sun. They're pickleballing on the sun.
Oh, wow.
What if we can make a song out of that?
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, but we need to take you up there and get you in. We wouldn't tell them that you're a professional guy. We just say, oh, this guy came by and he wants to play pickleball with you.
I just started.
We'll start at $100 a shot. No, we better not do that. But it's just fascinating. Well, Jordan, we're so glad that you joined us. We're going to have a lot of fun. Joe here at the office is a pickleballer. Scott's just getting into it. So between you and Scott and Joe and my brother and me part-time coming into it, we're going to have a lot of fun.
We'll have a blast.
Yeah, we're really glad you're with us. And I think in the next week or so, I know you're going with Gloria today on an appointment. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be.
Get to see the professional.
I'm very excited for that.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, thanks again, Jordan. Folks, we're going to sign off for now. I hope you had a chance to hear the first session as well. If not, go to our podcast, please, and listen as we talked to Abby Hopper, really, really sharp lady, and, of course, Jordan, one of our favorite guys. So anyway, don't forget to watch Daniel this week. Actually, next week, they're heading down to Mexico, and he'll be running the Xfinity race, driving the number 10 Chevrolet for Colleague Racing. So please tune in to Prime and watch him go race to the front. Have a good weekend, folks. See you next week.